Call the meeting to order. First order of business would be the roll call and to welcome our new commissioner, Lori Reiser. So if you would take the roll, please.
Lori Reiser,
Here.
Gary Klimick,
Here.
John Vorwerk,
Yes.
Dick Seabooth,
Speaking.
Keith Roloff,
Here.
Larry Mack,
Here.
Brian Filzen,
Here.
Ron Winiger,
Here.
Jeremy Reed's present, Steve Balzo, Carolyn Marty,
All right. The meeting minutes from February were amended last month, and everybody should have gotten a copy of them. So are there any other additions or corrections needed for the last month's meeting minutes? If not, I'd entertain a motion to accept the minutes as amended.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
There's a motion made. Is there a second?
I will second that.
There's a motion made and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same? Okay, financial report. There was no changes that I saw in here, so I would accept the motion to accept the financial report.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second.
Motion's made and seconded to accept the financials. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. All right. The exchange. And there was a lot of stuff going on last few weeks on this one, so. Larry, you were talking about, no, Larry was kind of on this thing for the most part. We got the ones from Germany.
Hans-Jost Training.
Yeah, there was 3 of them. And everybody saw that. I think what we need to do is that committee would probably need to get together and go through it unless decide which one or have we really decided to just stay with one? I know that's what was brought up at the last
I don't
meeting.
know that we made that decision. We were.
I don't think we finalized it.
I think it was in discussion yet,
Yeah.
and, I think we were gonna discuss that there was, 2 options for vehicles and stuff like that,
Okay.
for use, and I think there was discussion not to have them here at the same time, but to overlap differently. Different,
Okay.
time periods, but
One of the important features is looking at their resumes and seeing if we have appropriate host employers for them. I think that's really the key on selecting. If we have the choice to select, that I think is probably the main feature. So it falls into that. Who's on that committee? I don't have the committee.
I think it's, John and I and Gary,
Gary, Brian, Jeremy Reed,
Brian.
yep, is what I've got here. Those 4. I think it kind of falls into that group, isn't it?
Either, but
Weren't you on there?
Well,
what?
I don't have the full list in front of me, but,
Yeah.
Oh, this is just what I had
sure.
listed, but that may not be, it might not be correct.
Well, I'm
Get it
game.
worked, get it worked through.
Well, we can work through it and
Yeah.
set up a time.
Yep.
Before the next meeting.
We should be able to.
I'll make sure you notify Lisa, so she can publish it, that you're gonna have your meeting and where it's gonna be, and she will make reservations for you someplace.
Should we try and coordinate something,
Yeah.
Gary, after?
So I think our direction would be that we'd make a recommendation of, maybe rank them. We got 3 to look at. We'll
Right.
rank them in order and give you our results for who we think should be number 1.
Yeah, and then from there, we should be able to try to, I know one of them looks like she dealt mostly with city projects, and so I don't know, we can kind of figure out from there where we can find a place for them to work. And like housing, I know Jane made a Hulky, she said that as long as it's one of the females, she would volunteer to take like, have them at her place for half of it. So, just for your information, we do have that option.
I know of a couple that were interested in also
Yep.
hosting, and they had past hosted, but they reached out to me and said,
Yeah,
an opportunity.
I think we've got plenty of volunteers for that, which is really great. You know, it takes a lot off the plate that you don't have to worry about where they're gonna stay.
Correct.
Mr. Chair, I've had a number of contacts back and forth with Lisa because of working on the fall visitation of the people from Ulm and Noyon. And in one of the attachments that got stuck on the bottom of an email I copied off was a copy of a note from Lisa's counterpart in Ulm, and I got the impression from that, and I wish I could find it here so you could read it into the record, that they were really looking for a response even by tonight, because they said they wanted it by the end of March to know who was invited and who might not be. So I really don't think we have the luxury of waiting around till May 1st to let them know. They really would like, because it is this year. They want to get somebody lined up. And let them know who's coming and get some timing done, because having it fall by the wayside for another month makes it really difficult for the individual who might be coming.
Okay, so,
Mr. Chair, I'm fine if we, follow what they recommend and how the order that they have them ranked.
yeah, I know they actually did rank the way they felt, you know, the people. And they also said too, if we were only to have one person come over, then they would take that second-ranked person and she would come in next year then.
Sure.
But,
I would be fine as, supporting the way they selected them to come in,
I guess the
they're-
thing would be, does
they're
anybody
qualified.
object to the way they had them? I mean, everybody's had a chance to kind of read their resumes, and they're all obviously very good.
Did we decide last time on one or two?
We did not
We've got to figure out today.
That's what we gotta figure out today.
discussed it, but we never,
Yeah,
Yeah, we never made a motion. The thing would be to find places for them to work.
Kind of sounds one's in government, maybe that'd be a unique opportunity for the city here,
For
we'd
the
have
city.
to ask the city manager, or Lisa could ask the city manager if there'd be some sort of opportunities there, possibly, with the city and or with the chamber for the one, but,
Yeah, that would be the one I would
and you got
think wouldn't be all that hard to find a place for.
and you got retail and economic development for the other ones, so they're both, I think there's opportunities there.
yeah, I didn't think, reading through there, that was gonna be that difficult to find a place for them. I don't know how you guys felt about it, but,
No, I think there would be opportunities there, with the way they're rated for the first two.
So I guess the first thing we should decide would be, are we gonna go one or two? What's the discussion, what's the feeling of the committee or commission? Are most of them leaning towards having just one or having two of them here? I mean, we'd have to probably spread them out. I don't think we'd want them here at the same time.
no. we don't spread 'em out.
No, I'd be of the opinion, we have sent one there this year, we should accept one from them. And if they got the second one, I think they even made reference in the letter that they could hold the second person off to the beginning or sometime early next year. And I
Correct.
think we could accommodate that. We could take their recommendations that who they had as one and two, number one for this year, and number two maybe
First
early
quarter of
next year.
Yeah, for the winter quarter.
Right.
Maybe not the most delightful time to experience Minnesota, but hey, it's the state of hockey. And ice fishing.
Is that a motion, Gary?
Yes, I'll make that motion.
Okay, we have a motion to accept one this year and then have the second choice, using Germany's first choice be the one that we would ask to come in this year, and then they could send the second one next year. So we have that motion. Is there a second on the?
There's the names, if you want to read them into the record.
Okay, we have, let's see, Evelyn, I don't even know how to.
Zeltmeyer?
Zeltmeyer?
Zeltmeyer.
Yeah. And Annika Fisher would be the two.
No.
Evelyn would be the one that we would ask them for this year, and then Annika would be for 24.
Would, if we do, like the motion says, would that be the one, only the only one for 2024, or would there be one later?
I guess we haven't even know what we have for other applications.
Yeah,
Right now, I could see just doing one,
Yeah.
because it's a lot to
Yes.
cram in the range coordinating, but, I mean, I would be fine trying to get two, but it's,
I would be in favor of just one applicant
for
for the year.
2023.
Yes, because it's, by taking two, you're doubling everything. And we got to remember, Ulm and Nye-Ulm are a lot bigger than what New Ulm, Minnesota is. And I would be in favor of just having the one applicant.
So we do have a motion to accept the one for 2023. And,
I will second that motion.
okay, and we have a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
I,
Opposed, the same? All right, I will get a hold of Lisa, and we'll get some,
Yeah, I think the next one, I mean, we can't really control when she comes here. I don't know that winter would be the best time for her to come anyway.
no,
We'd want her to come, at least spring, where you can do some things.
probably the spring of 2024, kind of like the one that's coming in now. Seems like a good time of the year, at least it won't be frostbite.
So Evelyn would come when?
She would come in this spring. I don't know,
It's almost spring.
well, yeah.
Don't argue
Summer.
with the weatherman, but
And then, then Annika would come in 2024 if Germany continues, to recommend that. But for our recommendation right now, it would just be Evelyn.
So when would she be coming? Do we have?
I don't think we have that
I don't
information
remember
in front of
seeing
us.
She needs to be contacted to
Yeah.
find out her availability.
I mean,
too.
because it would be nice to have them here during some things going on, and, I mean, is she Bavarian Blast, or is she gonna still be here, Oktoberfest, or is this Bavarian Blast?
Fest or-
You know,
yeah.
something, yeah,
Well, I will put that in, when I talk to Lisa, I'll make sure that we get, try to get some dates of when she would be available to come here. And we'll try to get that so that she's at least, around for some of our
when we have
festivals.
one of the bigger celebrations,
Yeah.
And she's in economic development or real estate, so might be some opportunities there, I think.
It'd be good to have her out at the brat stand.
Yeah? Well, last year, the one was there, he worked in the brat stand,
Felix.
Felix. So, okay, so I will get a hold of Lisa, we'll get that. Let's see. The next thing on here would be the tour. No,
Yeah, the New Ulm to Ulm
yeah,
travel tour.
yep,
our organizer is present. If you would like to call on
Yes,
Joe
sir.
to give us a synopsis, that'd be grand.
yeah. We will relinquish the floor to you.
Afternoon. I'm Joe Meyer. Well, it's kind of intimidating to be up here. I feel like I'm in front of the Grand Inquisition. But seriously, I represent Germania Tours, which was the company selected by the Sister Cities Commission to organize this tour from May 22nd through the 5th of June. The main cities we'll be going to are Ulm, Munich, Salzburg, Friedrichshafen, Lucerne, Switzerland, and Rüdesheim. And status of, there's 28 people, including myself, that are participating in this tour. 2 board members are going. Thank you very much. The projected revenue is 91,477, and we have a little over half of that collected already. And then I have a list of all the hotels with their addresses and stuff like that. The next page is kind of a breakdown of the prices for the hotels and things like that. The next page is a sample of a menu at one of the restaurants in Salzburg. The main price range is anywhere from, say, 12 euro up to 20 euro. So that's for, you know, schnitzel, fried potatoes, vegetable and stuff like that. So that's an average meal. Then I'm working on putting together a tour meeting for the tour participants to come, and we got a number of talking points. For instance, make copy of your passport, credit cards, luggage allowance, money, recommendations, credit cards, electricity. It's different voltage over there. Lodging, food, toilets, public toilets. It's good to keep a 50-cent piece or a €1 coin in your pocket for like at truck stops, gas stations, stuff like that. I've seen some people just crawl under the turnstile. Tipping. So we've got everything pretty well finalized for that tour. And of course, that will include transportation from the parking lot here in New Ulm up to the airport and return. So any questions?
Joe, when do you project you'll have the meeting for all of the participants?
That's, we're coming up on the 15th or 16th of April. Because Holy Week is coming up now and Easter, we can't have it then. We're working on knocking on the door over here at Kaiserhof. And, but everybody, all the participants will get a message out, email message of all these things that we're going to talk about so that they can bring questions to the meeting, stuff like that. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Who are the two? Oh, you two?
Gary and I.
Sweet. So you're going to come back and give us a report on the trip?
Oh, absolutely.
I figured that, yeah.
Yes.
Pictures?
Whole truth and nothing but the
Schnitzel.
truth.
Yeah.
Especially all the food you're gonna
We're
eat.
not going to Vegas, though.
You know. Okay, thank you so much. So it sounds like that's moving right along, and we'll keep that on our agenda. The Brat Stand, the dates were already set now for the 26th of July and the 16th of August. So we will be sending out a notice for times to work at it. It's kind of fun, actually. You know, I was grilling last year, so that was kind of entertaining. But are there any questions on that? Okay, here the next one is the recognition committee. Lisa informed me that if we're not going to have anything, we need to basically get the recognition team together. Let Lisa know so she, when the date is that they want to get together, then she will publish the information so it gets to the official record. And if they come back and they recommend nobody this year, that's fine. And we can just, bypass it for this year. And there was always some discussion about changing the wording in it so that it didn't have to be, right now it has to be a person or a group from New Ulm that can be recognized. We can't have somebody outside to do it. And there was a feeling that maybe we could broaden that a little bit and have people that have helped our committee or, that may not be a New Ulm resident. If they have that meeting, I would ask that the recognition committee to come back with an official reply, and then we can vote on that.
Well, I think we kind of had a recommendation, didn't we? We-
Last year.
Well, we're thinking the Concord Singers. Pardon? That's what we were talking about, right? I mean, Ron?
Yeah, I did recommend Concord Singers earlier, but we never had a meeting on it.
No. We do need to do is have an official meeting on that. But, yeah, there was, several people, that they wanted to recognize, but yeah, nothing was ever decided on.
Well, Mr. Chair, you have the wonderful list there. Could you remind people who are on that committee and they can get together?
Okay, it would be, well, Caroline, she won't be here for a while, but Dick, Ron Wenninger, and I've got John Warwick on there.
I was on that committee at one time. I don't know if those all have changed now again or.
I can very easily put you back on there.
Because we were discussing it. Yeah.
We're on it.
Yeah, I was on at that time,
Yep,
so.
Brian, you are officially on it. I was going by a slip of paper I had in my notebook, and where it came from, I don't really know. So Brian, you are now officially back on there. Do you want to head that committee up, and then you can get together with the group.
I wanted to be on the committee. That's fine.
And then, just let Lisa know, and then she will set up a place for you to have it. And then from then on, if you want to change the rules, then bring back that recommendation to the commission next
I
month.
know we didn't do this before.
I
We-
think we probably haven't done it the right way for a while.
Because,
Yeah, we didn't last year.
Because I know over, well, I've been over 6 years on the commission and been on this committee several times, and we never had a public meeting. We brought it to the board, our recommendation, but,
Yeah.
okay.
I always thought it was supposed to be a surprise.
Yeah, at one time it was. That's why I don't understand that either. Yeah, it
Well,
was,
it'd be kind of hard.
it was a
Nowadays,
surprise.
it'd be really hard to be a surprise since we're on TV. If somebody's listening, it won't be much of a surprise anyway. But yeah, we try to make it.
Well, he can edit that. He can go boop, take care of that. We have the
Commercial
technology.
break.
We have the technology.
We can go to a commercial break. So,
All right, I will contact
Yeah.
Lisa if we need to do it that way. That's fine.
yeah, that's what she had recommended to me, so evidently we didn't do that right, or per the open meeting law.
If anything, Ron, Dick, and John, we're all about the rules, so that will
Yeah,
make sure
so I figured that.
that. Quiet, Jerry.
Are we
All
looking
right.
for 2022, or is that what you're gonna work on?
What's that? Well, I don't know that. I mean, we used to do it at the beginning.
Going backwards, no, this would be for 2023.
Yeah, I think we'd still do it this year, yeah. Yeah. We usually did it at the start of the year, but
Yeah,
don't
so if
think it really
anybody's
makes-
got any group or individuals that you think should be nominated to send to the committee, so I want you to get a hold of Brian, and
Yep.
they can decide and bring back a recommendation for us. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, is that for 2022 recipient or 2023?
I believe that would be 2022.
Would be the 22 recipient,
and you celebrate
yeah,
it in
in
2023.
2023.
Is what it did in January normally.
Yeah, normally it's done a lot earlier.
Yeah.
Okay, the next one is, we've got the German delegates coming in October, and now that would be in your bailiwick here.
Okay, just to restate what we have coming up on the calendar, the first weekend of Oktoberfest, we have both a German band, the Stadtkapelle Neu-Ulm, and a delegation with mayors and, I believe, council people, that numbers 12 in the official delegation that are coming to visit our fair city. We have had groups like this come in the past, and not as often as we like, but in the past we have had banquets and other gatherings to get together with our friends from overseas and want to share our community with them. The Stadtkapelle Neu-Ulm is going to be here a little bit longer than the official delegation. In your packet, you received a tentative schedule of events that they would be participating in. And part of that, to move beyond that, as requested at the last meeting, I put together a tentative budget for the weekend. We're quite fortunate that the city council had allowed the commission to retain its stipend for a few years and built up a substantial amount of funds that we could use for these type of endeavors. So we at least have that available to us. I would like to have the commission vote to pursue this endeavor, and I certainly wouldn't be unhappy to have other people helping me with this project at this time. The budget was assembled as a working tool to get some idea of what things we would have to endure from a standpoint of expenses. For example, on the tours, I have contacted the brewery and the Brown County Historical Society and worked through the park department, and now have all those admissions waived for the groups when they visit. So I think really our main challenges financially are transportation around the area and having an official gathering meal, whatever you wish to call it, that the Stadtkapelle has come specifically to perform at, and actually they were coming just to make sure they could perform for the mayors, all three mayors at one time here, but thankfully it worked out that it was an Oktoberfest weekend, and they'll also be performing out at the Best Western Plus.
I guess I have a question. Have we done this in the past from the sister cities that they've sponsored an event like this and used funds?
Yes, it's been years since a delegation has come, so I'd have to go back, but unfortunately our mayor is not here, and she participated in at least two other ones that I'm aware of, and I was a guest at one in 1981 and spoke at one where the banquet was at Turner Hall, and I gave a little history of how this whole Sister Cities thing came to pass. So we have done it. I would welcome as I say, other commissioners to join me in Kathleen, our mayor, in making plans for that weekend. But this is some basic idea of where we could go and what it might cost. And on the banquet option, rather than going to a restaurant or a hall that provides the food themselves, we worked through the budget and found that if we got our own hall, and we have, since this was printed, received word from Park and Rec that they would waive the expense of us using the community center for the event, and that way we could work with a caterer for the event, and all of a sudden, we're about $800 less than what it would be if we went to a hall like Best Western or Turner Hall or the.
That's great.
So it just takes a little time. This is, as I say, it's a working document. It gives you some idea what our challenges and our goals are, and I'd like to see us pursue this and make it a special weekend for the whole community.
I appreciate you taking the opportunity and putting some items together, you know, and a variety, and then, you know, yet to be, you know, finalized, but I think it's great. But I think we should just put a not to exceed number, you know, that's just my out loud, but what that number is, you know, like to hear from other commissioners, that's my out loud.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of great work on here. I think there's one thing that kind of stands out to me, and that is the celebration part of it and the socialization. And from my trips to Germany, there's always a lot of adult beverages involved with that. So if I'm looking at this, I'm looking at option one, just because that would make that a lot easier at the country club with their liquor license and everything. And that's something that this group is prohibited from.
Well, in either case, if we decide to have the function at Best Western or what any of those, the portion of the budget that would be funded through this organization is zero alcohol.
Correct.
So if we took the option of having it at the cafetorium, we may be able to get a sponsor to offer wine at the table. We could do something with even a BYOB for people can bring their own beer along. There's many ways to skin the cat. So I guess I'd like to see it go. I'd encourage a couple of commissioners to join me in working through these options. But I like the idea of saying, we're going to play, let's take a number here and say, not to exceed such and such as was suggested, and take the ball down the road a little further.
Yeah, if you have it, like you said over there, there's ways of getting, beverages around. There's another option too. Kegel doesn't charge for the back room there. There you could have your beverages too.
I just don't think they have the space for what we're talking about.
How many are you talking about?
Well, in the budget here, we're talking just without opening this up to the community to participate, 65 people with the Germans and the commissioners and the city council. They're alone.
Yeah.
That's 65 people, and we haven't opened up an opportunity for any other community members to participate at a ticket cost that matches our costs. We're not doing this as a fundraiser, so if it costs $25 to put the meal program together, then we offer it to
Yeah, I think
the
with
New
that
Ulm
many-
area people.
With that many people, that would pretty much eliminate going out there.
Yeah.
It'd be pretty crowded.
Now, I tend to think, well, when we had the last large one like this, we filled the upper gymnasium room at Turner Hall. So it was 300 people. I don't know what type of interest would happen, but I think there may be interest in this type of gathering, knowing we've got outstanding entertainment already built in, and I think the host families that'll be involved in this weekend would like to participate. So I think I don't think it's going to be a surprise to see 150 people or more at this event.
So we would be, this bill here would be just for the band members and that, and then anybody else that wants to come and pay their way?
And again, it's entirely up to this group whether the commissioners are included in the banquet at our commission's expense, and certainly the elected officials would be part of that too. So anything, and we open it up to the public after that and see what happens.
Okay. So the public, then they would just pay their whatever basic
Whatever our
cost
ticket
would.
price, yeah. If it's a ticket, 25 or 30 bucks,
Yeah,
that's
sounds
what
like-
it is.
That sounds about right. So what are you really looking for in this meeting? Are you looking for us to give you the go-ahead to?
I would, yeah, that would be the first thing, to pursue it further. It would not disappoint me if we put given the money or the budget that's in front of us, maybe something just a touch higher than the high end of this, so we should be myself and a couple more people from this group working on this project and get it all hammered out.
Yeah, you're gonna need some breathing room there.
Yeah.
We don't want, wouldn't wanna lock you down but we were just, last meeting, we were just trying to get a rough idea.
Yeah, well, now
Now we've got that rough idea, so, I would entertain a motion if somebody wants to put that forth. And, also I would ask, for some volunteers to help him out. If any, don't wanna appoint people, so. I do have my pen here and that little piece of paper yet, so we could get a committee together so to help you out, but I'd sooner have somebody volunteer to ask to help you.
Well, I like the idea of, let's get the first motion in.
Okay. Can I have a motion to have Dick continue this process and get things lined up, and that we would agree to a certain amount, whatever that amount would be? If somebody wants to come up with a dollar, try to be a high-end dollar. And that way he could continue, him and his committee could continue to work on this. Is there such a motion anywhere? Or,
Chair, I'll make a motion to continue. Dick, I'll even help you on this. But right now, I'm not set to put a dollar amount on it without looking at some things further.
okay. That hinder things, or,
No, it doesn't.
okay,
We can keep planning, and I'll second the motion.
okay. We have a motion to allow you to continue, fine tuning it. And basically what we're agreeing to is that we are looking at doing this get together? Is that what
Yes.
that's what I'm gathering, okay. So we have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. It's carried. You've got one volunteer. I'm assuming you could probably ask for one more? Or,
They can contact.
Get a
I'm
hold-
not- I'm not hard to find. How's
okay,
that?
yeah, get a hold of Dick and help him out. Okay. The new business would be to get a hold of our friends in Ulm, when the tours out there, for to contact past interns that we had, and I believe that is done.
Honor Marie said she was going
yeah.
to do that.
Yeah, because I already got a notice that it sounds like quite a few of them actually are planning on making it for that. So that'd be a pretty neat deal for the ones that are going there. You're gonna have some of the past interns there. I don't know if we needed to do anything else with that. I think it was more just information.
I think it was just communication.
Yep. Now then, Beth, you would be next for the German language. You can go, yeah, you can go over there.
Is this how it works?
Yes.
So I didn't necessarily come with anything prepared. Steve just asked me to be the representative so when the discussion happens. So my name is Beth Scharf. I work up at Martin Luther College, but I am a longtime Newalmite. My dad was Arnie Kelpine, who was mayor here. So a lot of your names are very familiar to me. And so back in the late 90s, early 2000s, when German Camp first started, I was fresh off studying abroad in Germany and Professor Kurt Whitmer's house up at MLC, and I met to start the German language camp that went on for a number of years. I eventually got married and moved away and had my own family, but Kurt continued to make the German camp grow, and it was a very popular thing here in New Ulm up until I would say about the time Heritage Fest was no longer, because part of the goal of that camp was that our kids who attended it would go to the camp or would be able to perform, so to speak, or show what they learned while they were at Heritage Fest. So as we're kind of thinking about whether this is something that the city of New Ulm wants to do again, I guess my question to you would be what your objective would be for, that's the teacher in me asking that, for the children that would come. Do you see this as a value for the younger students? We're looking at maybe grades 1 to 4, 1 to 5, being able to do this. Would your objective be for them to learn the language? Is it for them to learn a little bit about New Ulm? It's a little bit of both. And how do you see that playing out for younger students and for them here in the city of New Ulm? And I would be happy to walk you through some of the finer points and how you might want to make this a go. I don't know if we could necessarily get it going this year, but we definitely could start planning for another year if you think this is something that would be beneficial. Also, do we as laymen get to put ourselves on a committee? Because event planning would be very fun. If you're looking for somebody for that, for the dinner, Dick, that would be fun. So I would say, as a committee, if you just want to discuss if this is something that you would find of benefit for our young ones in New Ulm, then our conversation can go a little further on how we'd like to make it a go.
So you're thinking that there wouldn't be much of a chance to do it for this summer? Of
For
course, we are
me,
into April, I guess.
Yeah, for me personally, it was always in July because we always ended it at Heritage Fest. So if we wanted to include it in Bavarian Blast, that would be maybe the objective again this year, that we would do it for 4 days, then Friday of Bavarian Blast, maybe the students could perform there. For me personally, my summer is pretty packed already for me to put time into planning it and executing it well. But that doesn't mean that I maybe couldn't assist someone else who might want to head it up. We have a lot of opportunity out of the college for students who study German or have taken German in high school who could come as teachers. And getting that out to them already at this point is a little late in the game for those who have summer plans also. Doesn't mean we couldn't look within our own city as well. I'm sure we have some wonderful German speakers too who'd maybe want to be a part of it. But maybe for the sake of planning it well or throwing it together, we'd have to consider if we want to do it this year or if we want to think about it next year.
Beth, how long of an experience do you think the German camp should be? 1 week, 2 weeks? What do you think is appropriate so that it's not overbearing for the faculty to put a program together? And are we talking half days or a 6-hour day, maybe 3 hours in the morning, 3 in the afternoon? How do you envision something like this taking place?
So when we started it, and we did it for a number of years, we have a lot of material to draw from already. You know, we have years of German camp that have already been used. When we started off, the idea was to teach children the basics. So we did it for a week. The first 4 days, you did greeting, teaching people greeting, then, basic parts of the body, a table setting, and then you teach other basic general history things about New Ulm and of Germany kind of at the end of the day. So it would usually be about 8 to 11:30 in the mornings, and I think that is what worked the best for MLC when we were using their campus. And then Friday would be kind of a culmination of the week, run through everything that you had learned, and then we would put on a big German meal where all the parents were invited to come up. I think Gutes Essen helped towards at the end to do that up on campus, which was very fun. I wouldn't see it as an all day. I probably wouldn't do 6 hours just because of the age of the kids and for the type of content you're teaching. Foreign language is a different beast altogether than, teaching, well, I shouldn't say math. Math and foreign language to me are maybe in the same ballpark, but, so that's what I would envision starting as, and then we could see how it goes. If we get enough students that we offer something in the morning and then in the afternoon for different groups, that is something we can bridge when we get to it.
I think if we're gonna do it, I think we have to do it right. And, we've had a couple of years off, and if we wanna bring it back, take her recommendations for.
Do it in 24.
Do it in 2024, you can coordinate it with the students and get the people involved already, because we're already in May, and
Yeah,
you've got students graduating in May, I'm
right.
assuming,
Yes.
and things like that. That's just
Yeah.
my out loud, but it's just nice to meeting you and, knowing your involvement and
Yep.
thoughts, but maybe a committee can meet. I don't know, that's just a thought.
Didn't we have a committee for this particular project?
I don't think there was.
It was just Steve and I working on stuff. That was it.
Yeah.
Geez, we got an amazing blueprint down already.
We did it for a while, which is nice. My other question to you would be then, do you want it to focus solely on teaching the children German language? Or do you want us to also include New Ulm history or other things just about German living, things that maybe are different about living there than about living in America? We want to make sure that, I also think it's a great starter for people to consider doing the Sister Cities exchange at some point when they're older. So introducing them to other aspects other than language might pique the interest a little bit. So I could see the benefit of having that in there. But if the goal is just German language, we can just focus on the German language part as well.
I think it might be a little hard to keep their attention for very long if it's just going to be a German class.
Yep.
And
I think if
I
they
mean,
could
high
re-
schoolers can't keep more than
Right.
attention for more than an hour,
Yeah.
so.
I think if they could have an opportunity to relate something to their hometown, and then you might have an opportunity to say what's different in Germany, how they perform or do something, and how do they think, or order menu or
Yeah.
variety,
I think that relation, being able to relate to what they know to what they're learning goes a long way for
Yeah.
them.
And a little history of New Ulm
Yeah.
won't hurt.
Well, and Ulm has got a lot of history too, and,
Right.
it's big
One of the
both
neat
ways.
things for kids is always realizing what about their city is the same. I remember going to Germany the first time and thinking it was going to be so different. I'm like, man, this looks just like New Ulm, And then you relate to things and you go, oh, this is very German. And to be able to point out to the kids what's authentically German about New Ulm, these are things that are authentic German pieces of architecture or just how we live as a community that are authentic to us that you will also find over in Germany is a neat thing too. When we do the classes, we do it in a rotation. So we divide the kids into groups, and then we get one group for 45 minutes or so, then we do a transition to another one, so they have a little break. We do a snack, they go to someone else who teaches them something new. So in one morning, they'll probably learn 3 different things. So say we're learning the table. Maybe at one place, they're going to learn what is plate, what is knife, what is spoon, all of those things. In the next one they'll learn about foods from Germany. The next one, they'll learn maybe some songs and do some activities. So it's not just sitting in one classroom the whole time, which is really nice. And it goes by very fast.
Well, Mr. Chair, I'm pleased that Beth has given us this much enthusiasm right away for the program. And as has been previously discussed, I think setting it up so we do it right for 2024 is appropriate. And I would make a motion to authorize Beth and commissioners who wish to join in the process, Jeremy, since he's partially into it, and Steve, to pursue arrangements further and maybe give us an update at the end of summer with what might happen the following summer.
I would second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to do this in 2024. And Beth would, and our commissioners would get together and kind of get things ready to go for next year. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's carried. Thank you very much, Beth.
So much, appreciate it.
Are there any other announcements? If not, the next meeting would be Monday, May 1st, right here. So is there a motion to adjourn
I'll make that motion.
and a second?
I'll second it.
There's a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Meeting is adjourned.